Okay, we've stitched the first outline, and we're going to go back to the first outline again. And I put a little bit of glue stick on here. I said I used Scott permanent glue stick. And I put glue all inside the outline of where the hat's gonna stitch, and added my fabric for the applique. And now I'll start the machine again. I've used my favorite applique scissors, and I've cut all around. You cut as close as you can, and the easiest way to do it is to hold up your fabric tight and cut around the edges. Now we'll do the zigzag. And now we're going to stitch the center part beneath the split for the hat to fit the snowman. And I'll stop. Now, as you can see, I cut the hole. I cut the fabric out and I cut the hole. So I had to dig my scissors down inside, take it out of the machine and dig my scissors down inside to cut the hole to fit on the, because we're going to put a back on it when we get this done. So let's see what we're going to do next is the zigzag stitch, I think. Made a single stitch. Maybe this is the zigzag stitch, and then I did it as an applique. It should have been a zigzag stitch, so let's see what comes up. That's just a stitch to hold it in place. Now we're stitching the snowflake in the middle of the hat. I'm going to pause it while the snowflake stitches, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, now we've got the snowflake all stitched. It looks quite pretty. You can see the cute little snowflake in the middle of the hat. Okay, this is the rest of the video. For some reason it paused. I paused it for too long and it turned off. And now we're going to put some bright lines. And I've used a variegated, fun, bright neon point, I've glued a piece of fabric in the center, only around where the outside of the hat is, with a little bit of glue. And now I'm going to stitch a stitch on there, and then I'm going to trim it out, and then I'll do the satin stitch on the rest of the hat. Okay, now we're doing the outside. We turned it over and cut off that little applique on the back, and now we're doing the outside satin stitch. And I'll pause it and wait for it to stop, so we don't have a really long video. Okay, just finishing up the last few stitches for the hat. And once it stops, I'm going to make a couple of pointers that I have. When you cut this out in here, and this was my trial video really, so of how I'm going to do it. When you cut that out in the center, make sure you leave a little bit on the edge, because I was having a problem stitching it around the edge. So you got to leave a little extra on the edge to catch this satin stitch. So don't cut it all the way really close. Leave just like a tiny little extra bit on the edge, or the thread won't have anything to catch the satin stitch and the outline stitch. And this is the snowman that I made the hat for. So we're going to take this little rope snowman, and I'm going to pause the video, and I'm going to see what I can do to put this hat on the snowman and get it out of the hoop. So we're back to the work table. I said what I did on the edge of this is I trimmed it off as close as I could, and I took a lighter and I burned the edge of it very carefully. I just tapped it a little bit, just to seal up the edge. And then the hat fits cute. Now you can just stick it on there. Somehow I'm going to make him a hanger on the back with a ribbon or something to hang him up. And maybe put a little glue in there to glue it. You can actually maybe even stuff it with a little bit of batting to make it stand out. There's a few things you can probably do to him, but I kind of love his hat. His hat's really cute. And that's done with rope and an embroidery design and the little hat pattern. But always remember, when you did that middle part, when we did this middle piece, to leave a little bit more on the edge than I left, and don't cut it so close, so that that satin stitch has a place to stitch, to catch that satin stitch, so it has a little more fabric and stuff to catch it. And I think he's adorable. I just love him. I'm trying to balance the... You can go on a couple of different ways. You can go on a little crooked, or you can go straight. I kind of like him a little crooked. But with those big eyes, it's not easy to put him on there really easy. So I just think he's adorable. And with the funky little thread, I love him.